What's the time now? Or 3 o'clock. So you're about to knock off. Don't worry, hang in there. But then I am going to talk to you about a serious one. Let me do retouches so that I don't look ugly. Oh, yeah, you see, I'm dark. I'm light. I think this one is better. Beam. Okay, let's stick to beam. So hi guys. Yeah, my name is Lindy. I am excited to be talking to you today. Yet we are going to discuss a very serious topic, things that are happening around us, guys. People are going through the most. So let me try and find a place to put this thing so that I don't need to hold it, because then I'll have to hold it forever and it won't be. Ew. Ew, mama. All right. Yeah, now we can relax. Yeah, as I was saying, my name is Lindy Sherries. If you are part of this team, welcome and thank you so much for subscribing. If you are new, thank you so much for watching and I hope you will subscribe. So I want us to talk about the struggles that we are facing. Okay, I had to change. I'm not sure if I should start this live or continue with it, but then now I think the connection is better. Let me just start this live, then I'll connect again with a proper one. So I see two people connected already. But then I'll just continue with this one person. My name is Lindy Sherries, and let me just find a place where I can put this. Can I just reconnect? Because it feels like my network kept on dropping. And okay, this is much better. All right, let's just start. Welcome, guys. My name is Lindy Sherries. I'm sitting in my car because the house is still, too much. I can just show you the view so you can see what's going on, why we can't sit in the car, in the house and record somewhere. And the story with my office is still like that. There's just too much echo in the office, so we cannot go there. I didn't close the door. Let me just close the door. All right. So yeah, I had a good day so far. I woke up in the morning, took my kids to school, came back, started working, and for some reason I'm tired. Maybe it's because I woke up early, but then I am good. Let's just talk about what I wanted us to talk about. The struggles that people face. People go through a lot in this life. Like you look at someone's life and think or maybe and think they are lazy, or maybe and think that they are not using their mind. Why are they struggling like that? But then until you are in someone's shoes, you can never understand. Maybe there's some rewiring that needs to happen in their mind. I always say if something is not done right, like the change or a person doesn't decide on their own, there's nothing anyone can do until they decide on their own that, okay, this is enough. I'm not gonna settle for this. If they are abused or if they are poor, they can just start taking steps into making sure that they really fix their lives. But then until the rewiring in their mind happens, there's nothing anyone can do. Or you'd see people going to work where they are abused, where the boss is just saying all sorts of things, but people are still there. It's not because they want to, but because they don't have a choice, or they think they don't have a choice. And I always say we always have a choice. So I had this girl who's a friend of mine, not so close, but we were very close. And her boyfriend used to beat her up, beat her up at night. And then during the day, he'll be posting statuses of my girlfriend, mother of my children. And then I will get so confused because I know both of them, and it's difficult when you know both of them. And living in this world where someone will just abuse someone in front of you, and we are told, hey, it's not our problem. And we look away as if we do not see what's going on. And sometimes you just feel like, okay, even if I talk to this woman, at the end of the day, this woman will stick with their boyfriend until they decide on their own for some reason. Nothing will change. So this woman, like this guy would beat her up, and then she would send pictures. She would send pictures. And then I'm like, but this guy is a good guy. Like during the day, this guy is good, but then at night, like this guy will like abuse that woman. The relationship didn't work out, and the girl was left with 2 kids. The guy is now continuing with his life with another girlfriend, but at least there's no abuse. So these are the things that people go through, like the abuse, especially the abuse. This thing of you have to ubegezele, you have to fight for your marriage, and then I know for a fact, even at church, we are told that you do not divorce because the word says do not divorce. You divorce unless if there's maybe like cheating or someone gets involved in sexual immorality. So those are the things that happens around us. Yes, I don't think the Bible condone that even if when someone beat you up, you stay. So you do need to go and seek help and look for ways. And it's easy coming from someone who is not in the relationship, who is not advised. I always say you cannot give best advice to someone who's being raped and think you know nothing, or to someone who's divorcing and then you think you know and advice, yet you didn't divorce yourself, but then you say, oh, if it was me, I wouldn't stay, or I wouldn't do this and this and this, until you walk in their shoes and see and actually see how their mind is operating at that point and moment. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. I mean, even us, like you might think, okay, I know me one clap, I'll be going to a police station. I'll be reporting to my pastor first. My pastor would take me to a police station because that's the church we go to, like tolerated. But then you can't tell everyone that I mean, I want clap. Maybe one day when that clap comes, I won't be saying the same thing. Maybe I'll also be sitting there thinking maybe it will get better. Maybe he was angry, or maybe something happened. But I don't know when I get to that point. So I also had this friend from work, a woman who's earning a lot, like a lot, brilliant IT woman, doing well, intelligent. Actually, she was number 1 in our learnership. You know, that those girls who just program as if they were born programming. She just see code in her head. And this woman had this guy from back home who she was dating. And she bought a townhouse somewhere in Four Ways. And then this guy came and stayed with her. And then one day she was at work and decided, let me just go home during the day. And then when she got to the house, this guy had a girl. And this girl stayed back home where they came from, like around in Pretoria. I won't mention the area. And then she was so angry, saying, you could have cheated with anyone except that girl from my street. You know, the one you grow up with, and then the one would say you think you better, and then your husband goes and cheat with that girl. So, Nje, those are the struggles that we are facing. And then there's people who are not loved by their mother-in-law. Like, you know, some are lucky, they are loved. They are so loved. And then sometimes you just experience that moment where you just feel good. Mina ngathi I'm not loved, or maybe the other makoti, she is loved more, or mina I'm not loved. People are experiencing that, and they are not loved. And I think all I can say to such a person is that's where God must, like God's character, the fruit of the spirits must show. Guti, even if they do not love you, your job is to still love them, because I truly believe that we win people when we show love. We win people when we do things that God says we must do in the Bible. So yeah, guys, there's just so many struggles around us. And then you find there's this girl as well who's working, the boss, the boss, like, you know, when someone goes to the car and then cry and then go back to work and work. You know, that environment where you know, good, even if there was a raise or maybe a position, that boss will not recommend you to get that position. But then we stay, and then you ask yourself, why? Why? Or is it because maybe you can't take a CV and apply, or maybe there aren't any jobs and you feel like you're stuck? And that's the thing that I'm fighting in my life. I am not stuck. Guys, I am not stuck in anything. I always tell my husband that I always have a plan. Should he says, or maybe he wants divorce or he cheat, I always have a backup plan. Like, I really don't think I would beg someone that much to that level where someone is so important that my life have to pose for them. My boss, my life didn't pose for my boss. My life will never pose for my husband. I mean, I'm talking about a man who loves me. But then if it gets to that point where I can see it now, I always say, God is the only one who will make my life stop. God is the only one who will make my life stop. Not even one human being in this world. I came alone. I will respect. I will love. But then when I feel I've been taken advantage of, or maybe something is just not according to the standard of what the Bible is saying, and it's not even one of those where a person made a mistake, or one of those where a person needs to repent, or maybe one of those where a person maybe they just need to be restored. Maybe, you know, we live in a world where we all sinners. If something happens, and obviously you'll ask for forgiveness, and then the restoration process must start. But then I always say nothing in this world will make me like be so forced in a corner that much that I don't have a way out. I always say, even if I were to be stuck in a room with a lion, I will fight to get out. So that's how I see my life. Like, in any situation where I feel like this situation is starting to box me or put me in a corner, I always think of that lion, that what will I do if I was stuck in a room with a lion? Because obviously one of us must come out. So it's either the lion or me. So I will fight to come out. So these are the things that are happening. And then you find those ones who are just competing, guys. You know those type, like, they're just competing. They're not living their life understanding that God gives things differently to different people and for different purposes. People who just compete, like they just compete, and you know, sometimes you're so busy you don't even notice, and then you see that this person actually they're competing about something. They're checking what you have. There are those people, and like enough for me, I don't even have that eye. Like, I don't even have the eye of someone who says maybe they're gossiping about me. I feel like those matters which are there to distract us from the mission that we need to do in this world. For either starting your business, you just don't have time to be entertaining such. And then you find those people who just talk too much in your life. Like, oh, they just talk. Either your aunt or uncle or your sister or your cousin. You know, the one that talks and talks and talks. And every time they just talk, anything negative will come out. Like, it will come out. I mean, you say one word, the answer will be negative by default. Question is, why do we keep such people in our lives? Yes, there are families. Maybe we cannot, like, I don't know, get rid of them. But then you have a choice to leave the room. You have a choice to maybe not call the person. You have a choice, or maybe to just avoid the person, like totally avoid the person. I remember when I started, when we prepared for me to live at home, and I had to go and stay with my in-laws. I think it was one day or something, and something just didn't go well with this one specific person who made my life so difficult because I was a makoti. And that time, I would cry and cry. It's like, this person doesn't want to welcome me in the family, this person. And my husband will say, why do you allow this person to have so much control in your life? And the day I took his advice and decided that, you know what, I am here. I am here for my husband. I am here for his family. I am here to build. I am here to just build my family. I'm not here for other people who do not want me. I cannot entertain them. I cannot entertain them. And that day I made a decision that, you know what, anything to do with this person I'll just ignore. Yes, I'll give them food, but then anything to do with this person I'll just ignore. And I even have a friend back when I used to work. I used to have this friend. Actually, he's still my friend. And then he said he was raised by like a stepfather, and you know when you get adopted and then you're being raised, and then there's this one specific uncle who wouldn't acknowledge that you're now part of the family, and this person used to make life so hard for him. You know, when they are sitting and then he'll say, when I just go and bring this and this, as if his job was just to walk around and do all these things. So it is only now he's realizing that now I am working, I have my own family, and you're still making my life hard. He is dealing with that guy. So guys, there's so many struggles, and then you go and see people crying because they do not have food. People crying because they do not have food. And then that time you're looking at your wallet, you have 7,000. I mean, especially these days, I'm making money. And then you're looking like, okay, I have my own struggles, but my struggles are not like them. Yes, they might be hard for me, but then for them, they also have their struggles. They do not have anything. And then you drive around, you see women and the kids sitting next to the robots, and then men waiting for just one job. I mean, you know, when you, as a man, you go out there and just find a job so that you can just buy bread, and you're not finding anything, guys. You're not finding anything. You know, I commend such people because they left home. They went at least to try and find work. Like, I'm looking at the builders here, and then some of them are not getting paid. Some of them are not getting paid. And I'm like, oh, Lord, this is hard. I mean, coming to this house and working so hard, but then the person who's doing the contractor, the owner of this contracting business, and then he is not paying them. And that day, I was so sad, guys, thinking, oh, these men worked. And they worked hard. Like, for 2 weeks, they worked hard. Like, they would come in the morning and work hard, but then they didn't get paid. And you look at that and like, yeah, people are going through the most. I mean, my problems are not so serious compared to what other people are going through out there. I mean, going back home as a husband, as a father, and you look at these kids who are waiting that you will come back with one loaf of bread or even 2 loaves of bread, and then nothing is happening. So guys, people are going through the most, and I pray that God would just hold me, like really provide for me to finish everything that I need to do, and then just go all out and cook food for those men who are in the street, who are saying, I'm just looking for that employer. You know, just create food parcels for them, and just go one day and say, you know what, take this back to your family. There's a kid who doesn't have a jersey. I mean, think about it. It's winter now. This child didn't have a jersey. He doesn't have shoes. At least we're almost coming out of winter, but he didn't have that during winter. And I only heard about it, I think, 2 weeks or a week last week. He's doing matric. I mean, there's things like applying. The mother was crying tears, like there's no food. The other day when I met the mother, she said, there's no food, but then that's not the problem. The problem is I just want money to go buy Disprin. And I was like, you know what, Sissy, I do have that money. Go buy Disprin, because the son, the one who's doing matric, sick, like, and he's even scared to say, I am sick, because he knows that the mother doesn't have money to go buy Disprin or grandpa or medicine. So, guys, people are going through the most, and let's just look at our lives and be grateful for what we have. I mean, if you have a house, if you have a car, or if you have even a shack, which you build, and you are living there, at least you're not getting rained on. Be grateful, because there's one who doesn't have that shack, who's living under a bridge, and all they want is just a blanket. So guys, yeah, people are going through the most, and And I cannot wait for God to just enable me. And I know He is enabling me to go help those people, to go help those children. I mean, I once went to this place where they keep kids. So a friend of mine, her mother owns a child welfare, those places. I went there, guys, and I went in the morning, and then I got there. I couldn't sit. I sat there, they had an event and they were celebrating, I don't know, something, maybe them passing. And then I looked at those kids, they were running around, boys and girls. I couldn't stay, guys. Like, I felt like something was choking me because all I could think about is I'm imagining my son, if I die or if we both not here, and my son having to be raised by someone at a shelter somewhere. I couldn't stay there. I just told my friend, Roxanelle, I'm out. And I went to my car. I cried because I'm thinking that child, I'm looking at my son daily. He jumps, he comes to me. For some reason, he will come and sleep somewhere here, and then he will tell me all the stories at school. So I'm just imagining those children at that shelter. There's like many of them, like more than 30, more than 40. Boys the same age as my network is bad. Yeah, I was saying, just go to these shelters, find that one child. Go to these shelters, find that one child. You do not need to do much for them. And I know something like that. So yeah, guys, there's just so much we can do. That neighbor, the one everyone knows that they do not have food. So guys, there's so much we can all do, and sometimes we think we need to have money to start doing these things. Let your eyes be those eyes where you see these things. Like, sometimes people will ask me, why do I help people? And I'm like, it's not something you can ask. It's by default. You see that there's a need. You have to. You cannot just ignore and not do anything about it. It's not even a matter of it's your gift or it's I don't know, you given much. I don't believe we have that much, all of us. I mean, we don't have that much, but then you take what you have and go give people. So yeah, let's just help people, guys. I just thought that I should spend time with you guys and talk about the struggles that people are facing out there and what we can do as well. Do not wait for you to have money. Maybe you might not even have money until you die. Maybe your salary and whatever you get from your business, it's all you're going to have. So if you do not help now, if you do not buy that cabbage for that family in your street, of that someone, that granny who doesn't have shoes, and yet you have 7 pairs of shoes, you can't give one. That child who do not have a jersey, that girl who might end up going out with sugar daddies because they do not have a jersey. And when now you have like 30 jerseys in your wardrobe. Let's just take and give, guys. Let's just take and give. I mean, there's things that we buy and not wear for 2 years. I mean, guys, and we do that. We do that. We keep buying and buying and buying and buying, and then we don't wear those things. Maybe it's time we check our closets and just remove everything that you didn't wear. Because obviously, if you didn't wear something for 2 years, clearly, maybe you do not need. Maybe start giving people those things. And also avoid being taken advantage of, because sometimes people, you might help someone and then you see that this person is now starting to take advantage of you. But those are the things you will see, you will notice, and then you need to put order when it comes to that. And I always say, sometimes some people need to be taught how to work, because some people are just lazy. They will sit and not have food and not, but because they are lazy to even think. Then it's your turn to use that time, to use the word. I mean, there's so many scriptures in Proverbs which talks about you sluggard, you lazy, go to an ant and see how the ant works. So those are the moments that teach people to know how Jesus taught them fish. He did it for them. He taught them how to fish. He didn't fish for them. So let's go as well and teach people, because you enable a person once, you do not need to help them again. And then you can next one. Yeah, guys, I think we're done. Let's talk again some other time. But yeah, those are the struggles that we face. Yeah, let's try and do our best in this world. Thank you, guys.